Everyone is working super hard. We should be too. Go, Barbara, go! La da 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 da. Paimon's excited to see another of Linny's magic shows!
Not this time. My brother's so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody, the great magician Linny, has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight.
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. Seems so...
Well, children love magic because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. And somehow, I felt drawn to him too.
Aw, that sounds...
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand. I was so happy that day.
Oh, that's so cute! Actually...
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like C. After all, you never know when the people dearest to you might...
That's right! Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but at the very least...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now.
See? Even Lynette the Phantom Weasel! Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you...
As Linny once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless but once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time.
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all enjoying the performance. There will now be a brief intermission, after which Linny will perform the most electrifying act of tonight's show. The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House, so please...
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places. Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't. This is a big mistake for a magician to make. But thankfully,
Lenny? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago.
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking. I know the question.
Really? Well then,
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine, she never missed a But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day she ran the risk of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared it.
So,
Being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe, at her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers, but I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale.
Don't worry, Lorenzo's. But I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me, even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, with a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind it?
wait. So you mean the whole intimidation thing? But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out even at the end instead of admitting to be—
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Linny, if you're so confident in your version of events, having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But...
An excellent answer. Those...
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the...
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to... Why would the real weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people?
Of course. After all, if I had to guess, I would say that the real weasel left to fend for herself after her parent. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed. And once again, she was betrayed. And this time, this was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain, I detest the happiness of others. I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true.
That's some pretty—
Does this story satisfy?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to clear up my confusion.
Huh. That's right. What drove you to write that letter, Gemma? Because without that, none of this would have ever come to light.
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. Linny. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves.
That's it?
Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear.
10 years ago? Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those two obnoxious... He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something? And you went to...
We remember all our debts. However, 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds and his legacy was thrown out. But we did not forget.
And? What exactly did you take from me?
Free? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Prized possessions with... Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night...
What are you trying to...
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of crime. Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be... He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think you know, deep down, but that truth is gone now. And I guarantee...
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and false...
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Linny to perform his... I'm sure you're all wondering what he has planned for the grand finale. Well, wonder no...
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal... But we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused, and that the real Weasel has now...
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. I've been practicing this. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight.
Lenny, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. So what about now? You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lenny said, when you're ready, let's head out.
but what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Lenny,
All right. Well, let's go and watch Lenny's finale.
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look!
Behold! Linny is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Winnie! Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
How could he possibly have done that?
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just vanished, right in front of my eyes.
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really worth the trip. Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Linny has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better grand finale. It will make a great headline for the
Looks like everyone really loved Linny's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Linny anywhere. Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. Oh, you mean the one where... Yeah, that's probably it. This whole magic show kinda seemed like Linny's way of saying goodbye to Caesar. Alright, let's go look for him. Are you alright? Paimon was scared to death when the chain broke. Paimon was sure something had gone horribly wrong.
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience on tenterhooks. That's our job. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, suddenly feeling weightless. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder what Caesar... Did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or...
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in Caesar's workshop.
After I joined the House of the Hearth. To be honest, Lynette and I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived by secretly learning magic from street performers. But I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I saw was the polished final performance, but I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand, hone my misdirection skill. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves, but without proper guidance from a professional.
So that's why you sought Caesar?
Yes. We figured there was no harm in asking, but it took us by surprise that he was so... In all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. For instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic, but in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed soon. What amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitating over whether trust is a beautiful thing.
Linny...
Still worried about the way I feel? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, lies and selfish... After Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of him was that he'd fallen to his... That night, I remembered his smile. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you look around and realize your life is like an empty auditorium. You only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma. Because...
Yeah, cheer up. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey, too. But delicious food, fun toys, and the Traveler by my side. Paimon just... you know, Traveler, doesn't that kind of make you...
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing each other has in the world. Life has taken plenty from us, like it did from Gemma. But at least it left us with each other. That's what gave us... That's why the darkness never consumed me, and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too, but we remember every precious... Alright, time to lighten this conversation up a little. What did you think of the show tonight?
It was amazing! Paimon just wishes we hadn't been so distracted with the Gemma situation. We spent most of our time in the Opera House just, Lenny.
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are...
Aw, come on! Surely you can think of something.
Oh, all right then. I'll give it a go. Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand! We ain't go...
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me.
3?
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flowers appeared...
Really? Let's see. Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a gift, but more importantly, Paimon has to know how the trick is done, please!
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have... Since you asked so nicely, I'll share...
Is that it?
Ah, look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my... I look forward to...
Alright, shall we head back down too? Oh, Paimon can't wait to read the Steambird tomorrow. Paimon bets Linny and... Let's head to the Steambird's offices tomorrow morning.
I'm very sorry, Charlotte, but my sister and I are quite busy today. I'm afraid we'll have...
Oh, please, Linny, I'll only take a moment of your time.
Huh? What's happening here?
I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, and it was but just as dawn broke, I suddenly received news that Caesar's fiancée, Gemma, had contacted the...
That was quick.
Too late, bro.
That was quick, you say? It sounds like I've got some catching up. Aha! My instincts did not lead me...
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her of a better time with Caesar, and she could no longer...
Huh. Okay, then. Wait, no, there must be more to it. If that's all it took for her to... Oh, I remember now! You and Gemma were nowhere to be found after the Quickfire question! Where did you all go after the
Oh, we went to the cemetery and Linny did a private math. Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminds Paimon. Guess what?
What? I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from you myself. Is this supposed to mean that they're more important?
No, I just...
What now? This is getting...
Seems like this interview wasn't meant to be. Well, never mind. Forgive my persistence, but when there's explosive news waiting to be found, I can't turn away. Apparently... All right, I guess I'll leave you to continue the rest of your conversation.
Lynette? Paimon didn't mean to...
Don't worry, I wasn't angry. I was just trying to distract her.
Oh, really?
Phew. You and me both, Paimon. You and me both.
Please, take good care of that rainbow. I'd be really upset if you
should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.